Kingdom
live.
What's hot? Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni.
Yeah, when it's grim, be the Grim Reaper and go get it.
It's my home's house. And it is good. Woo! Arrowhead man.
The Lombardi Trophy has a red and gold reflection.
You gotta fight for your right to party.
Howdy,
Let's
Chiefs
go.
Kingdom. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. That means it's time for Chiefs Kingdom Live. Thank you so much, everybody who's joining us. While you're here, click like, click subscribe. Don't forget, tell a friend, tell a family member, tell some Chiefs fans, tell them to tell some more Chiefs fans. Help spread the word. We'd sure appreciate it. Got a good show tonight. Did you guys know there's a Chiefs game this weekend?
Is that this weekend?
I did know that. Yeah.
It's this weekend. It's
weekend.
preseason. Still better than the Hall of Fame game. So we're going to talk about that. Depth charts out, unofficial, but still a depth chart. It looks pretty accurate. Some interesting things on there we're going to break down. Chiefs got a plethora of players in the NFL 100 in the top 10. Chris Jones.
Oh, boys.
The Chris Jones thing just keeps getting more and more bizarre. So we're going to break it all down, but don't forget, you can also follow us on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, X, or Twitter, or whatever that thing is called now. Instagram, Chiefs Kingdom Live. Go hit us up. Give us a follow. Give us a like. Fellas, how are we doing tonight, Nick?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. We got, like you said, we got Chiefs football this weekend. Watched the first episode of the franchise. Watched all the I don't have cable, but I watched all the Chiefs players and the NFL Top 100 stuff they posted on YouTube. Man, it's been a good week. It's been a great off season for Chiefs fans. That's for sure. What about you, Bo?
Yeah, man, no complaints here. Dodging tornadoes left and right in Kentucky, but beautiful weather's finally opening up, and it feels like football weather. So fitting that the preseason's starting this week, man. But yeah, doing great. Ready to talk some Chiefs. How are you doing, Scott?
I'm doing real well. Just enjoying this beautiful summer we're having here in Chiefs Kingdom, the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. I think the high was like 82 today, which for August 9th in Kansas City is ridiculous. I don't know who all these people are that are tripping, talking about how hot this summer's been. This has been an awesome summer. So, yeah, let's just get into it. This is almost, I feel like, Groundhog Day at this point. I'm expecting like Sonny and Cher to start playing on my alarm in the morning. Chris Jones, still no contract. Talks are that's going to get done any day now before the first preseason game, before the first regular season game. But no deal in place yet. Chris has put some, I don't know if you want to call them cryptic or generic or what you call the tweets or the posts he's been putting out. He put one out the other day, I believe it was on Instagram, that said all good things must come to an end. It was like lyrics to a song that were highlighted. Then yesterday he puts out a post or a tweet on X that says, KC, I love you, with exclamation marks. What are we thinking, Nick? How are we feeling? It's another week, another post from Stone Cold. How are you feeling about him getting a deal done before the season starts?
I'm going off of what Brett Veach said, which is we're going to get a deal done. We have no intention of trading him, right? I mean, that's publicly basically kind of foregoing a little bit of leverage, saying, hey, we're going to get this done. The tweets, like Chris Jones, he tweets stuff like that about Kansas City pretty regularly, right? He said that after the Super Bowl. He said people posted 2 or 3 times. He said something pretty similar to that. So I'm not that concerned about it, right? Brett Veach coming out and saying we're not trading him, we're going to get a deal done, kind of put my mind at ease, to be honest, saying, well, they're going to figure it out, right? So, I feel like I'm in a better spot with how I feel about this after hearing that.
Bo, how are you feeling?
As the days go on, my worries have dropped to 0. like for a couple of reasons. For everything Nick said, because Beach is like, yeah, we're pretty much definitely not interested in a trade. But I mean, it's just I just find myself wondering, like, what is holding out kind of doing for the team right now? And it's like I feel Chris Jones. I get the business side of the sport. Go do you, man. Nobody's questioning your athletic ability or what you bring to this team. We all know you're a game changer, a wrecker. But I mean, as training camps going on, and you see like reports of Spags coming out with these like completely different defensive formations, like a 3-3-5, like 3 linemen, 3 linebackers, and 5 DBs, trying to like just, I don't know, confuse other teams essentially for like what's going to be missing if Chris Jones isn't there. It's kind of making me jump ship a little bit to the coach's side a little of this whole thing. Like, hey man, we love you, but we got Patrick Mahomes, dude, and a player with that kind of skill kind of can make up for all these great players. We saw it. I mean, I hate to say it. We saw it with Tyreek Hill, right? Like I did not want to lose that guy whatsoever. He was holding out for more money, and the Chiefs ultimately said, "Hey, man, you know what? We can let you go. Like it's not that imperative. You're not the guy. The guy is Patrick Mahomes." And can make your arguments about offense, defense. The offense is obviously going to be a little bit more effective towards the game, but and Chris Jones doesn't play with Mahomes. But I think when you have a player like Mahomes in that skill set, he can completely just take over for deficits in a team. I mean, the first Super Bowl run we had, I'm pretty sure our defense was ranked 17th or 18th, like definitely below average, and we still won the Super Bowl, right? And like, so I mean, I want this deal to be done. I want Chris Jones on our team so bad. He's such a game changer. He makes a difference in the game so much. But as time goes on, and you're hearing that he's pretty much fined himself out of $1 million now. I mean, I'm rounding, but like it's getting up there. It's like, what are we really arguing for? So I mean, like, my worries are just zero. We got Patrick Mahomes. If he wants to come on and win another Super Bowl, let's go, buddy. Let's do it. But I'm not going to sit here and stress like, oh my God, we're going to have him. What are we going to do? In Beach we trust, and in Spags we trust. I'm okay with whatever happens, but I would really like to see him as a Chief this year.
I never really expected to hear you say that you hate Chris Jones, huh?
Yeah, that's the main bulletin point out of all that.
Yeah. It's a strange situation. I don't know. Maybe Chris Jones is just having fun on Twitter. I don't know what really to read into all that, so I don't read a whole lot into it. I'm still at about a 5 or 5.5, 50-50 chance or worried that he'll sign. Not sign. When Brett Veach says we have no interest in trading him, that to me is something that you could say either way. You could be being honest and saying you don't have any intentions on trading him, or if you did want to trade him, you're not going to say, oh yeah, we're open to trades, or yeah, we're not going to get a deal done, so we need to trade. That to me, saying we're going to have no interest in trading him, that drives the price up on somebody that really wants him. You're going to have to offer more now for a trade to get him. So I don't know what to read into that. All I know is, like I said, Brett Veach, when he says they're going to get it done, and Chris Jones is tweeting out that he loves KC, the all good things must come to an end. Who knows what that could be? That could have been a personal life.
He literally was quoting a song, right? So
yeah, and it was in a song. So I didn't lose much sleep over that. I do get a little tired of guys though with the cryptic tweets and messages, and he hasn't scrubbed his social media, but things like that I do find a little bit annoying. Chris Jones, to me, and I'd like to get your ideas on what you think about this. Is it worth $1 million to a guy like Chris Jones to not have to do training camp?
I don't know.
Maybe.
You hear how legendary Andy Reid's training camps are and how beneficial they are to players, right? And I mean, I know he's a professional athlete and you probably have top-notch trainers at your side helping you stay in shape and get ready for football shape, but I think there's something about being there, going through that hardship with your team. I can't remember who I heard talking about. It might have been on Pat McAfee or somewhere, but they're talking about how when players recollect their time spent in the NFL, they always look back and they say, the thing I liked and I missed the most is the camaraderie with the guys, right? And I feel like that's what kind of like Chris Jones is missing, being out for so long, going through these grueling 2-a-days, 3-a-days, right? Like maximizing practice times and everything. He's not there. And I think we talked about it last week. Patrick Mahomes kind of mentioned his name kind of just out of the blue. I think, yeah, man, like everybody wants him there. Like, hey man, let's get this. We're a team. We want you to be a part of this. Like, let's go. And I think that's kind of what he's missing doing all this. So I don't know if like you can put a value on that, but I would say that's worth $1 million in my book.
Nick,
It's probably worth more than $1 million if he were to go to training camp and have a knee tweak or something that injured him.
right?
I mean, so I mean, I think that he's just like, well, like no contract. I'm not going to take that risk of getting injured. And I mean, it probably doesn't break his heart to not be out there in 100-degree heat and full pads, doing the practices, right? You heard Travis Kelce talking about some of those, the long drives and, deals that they do where they're like, well, it doesn't matter if you take it to the house. It's like they move you 5 yards forward and you do like a 15-play drive just so that like you get mentally prepared. The converse side of that is now he's going into the season without that. Now a player of his caliber, right, probably be okay, but like it's a continual thing that you have to keep sharpening up. I was talking to a coworker who is in a band. She's been singing for years, and she's like, well, I got gigs coming up. I got to like practice, get my voice where it needs to be and stuff. I mean, even people that have been doing stuff for years still need to practice and own that craft. So that's a little concerning. Is he going to be ready for the start of the year? But we're at where we're at. So
He's been posting videos of him working out. I don't know how grueling of workouts he is doing, if he would be in training camp shape or not. It's funny to hear about these training camps and these long, hard practices or what get these guys ready for the season. And you hear that, that's what, that's how we were tougher in the fourth quarter. And that's how we were tougher at the end of the season and the postseason.
Right.
We also hear people say you don't get in game shape till you play the games. So I'm not going to call any of those guys liars. Maybe it's a mental thing for them. I don't know how much straining your body in St. Joe in training camp does for your conditioning in January, late December. Maybe there's something to that. Maybe there's not. I don't really know. But yeah, the more and more I think about it, the more and more I just think it's like I'm about to get $28, $29 million a year for the next 4 or 5 years. I'll drop $1 million to not have to go to training camp. So the wait continues on Chris Jones. We'll wait and see what happens there. Speaking of Chris Jones, we got some players in the NFL 100. JT Campbell here, our guy out there in the Carolinas. Good to see you, man. Need
Yes,
more
sir.
Panthers in the top 100. You'll get there. I think you guys get there. I expect them to be better. I think they're going to have a good shot at winning that division this year. So
we only had 3.
What's that?
Chiefs only had 3 players in the top 100, right?
The top 10, right?
I know we had 3 in the top 10.
And we had
I've
0
look
in
at the full list.
bottom 90.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, again, this is like players. It's voted on by the players. A couple of years ago, last year, they said Patrick Mahomes was 8th. So take that for what you will. Real quick, while we're talking about defense before we get to the NFL 100, JT's got a question about Justin Houston. I don't know what he has left, but the way he kind of did the team and the way he talked about Chiefs Kingdom on the way out, I don't really care if he's got anything left. I don't really want him on the team. So he was a little bit of a malcontent, hell of a player, but I think his time in the red and yellow is gone. So good luck to him.
Still hurt?
Yeah, his knee's still hurt. Exactly. So
I guess I missed it. Did he express an interest in trying to get signed or something?
It was just one of these reports out there that Justin Houston's looking for a home. There's possible interest in a reunion in Kansas City. You hear this. I saw someone saying that the Chiefs and the Broncos were interested in Josh Jacobs from the Raiders.
Yeah, I saw that too.
He wants a big money deal. Like if you're having a hard time figuring out a way to pay Chris Jones and letting Tyreek Hill walk, you're not going to trade a bunch of picks and then sign a huge deal for Josh Jacobs. So a lot of that I think is just a bunch of nonsense that people put out there. Throw something against the wall, see if it sticks. But NFL 100, Chiefs got 3 players in the top 10.
Woo.
And if they would have got rid of Tyreek Hill, they would have had 4. They would have had 40% of the top 10 on one team. Pretty wild. Chris Jones checking in at number 10. Travis Kelce jumped in there at number 5. Patrick Mahomes, number 1 in the NFL 100, where he belongs. What do you guys think about the Chiefs having 3 players in the top 10? And what do you think about the NFL 100 overall? It's voted on by players. I don't know if that makes it more or less legit than maybe like an AP that's by the writers. Bo, what do you think about the NFL 100, and what do you think about Chiefs getting 3 in the top 10? Does that sound about right to you?
Sounds about right, man. I was thinking, I didn't, like I said, I didn't check out the entire list and go over it with a fine tooth comb by any means, but surprised like Nick Chubb or some of our other guys, or Nick Chubb, sorry, Nick Bolton, fantasy right in front of me.
Right.
That's a Freudian slip right there. Surprised like Bolton or somebody or like Creed didn't get a little nod in that the top 100. You know what I mean? But no, I mean, players voting on this, they know the ins and outs. They see stuff, subtle stuff that us casual viewers will never see, and they go up against them face to face sometimes. And when they're all in agreement that Mahomes is pretty much the top guy and Kelsey's the top guy in the tight end spot, and who's the best defensive player, Chris Jones. Like, yeah, all right, that makes sense, man. You watch us perform last year, so let you know that the league knows what's up. It's going to be a great year watching everybody just salivate over the opportunity to like take us down, having the bullseye on our backs. I love it. Can't wait.
Yeah. Nick, what do you think of the NFL 100 overall and Chiefs getting in there number 1, number 5, and number 10? What do you think?
Yeah. It's awesome to have a team that's so good that we're talking about having 3 of the top 10 players in the league all on our team. I mean, that's badass. Like you said, I mean, Tyreek Hill was a Chief a couple of years ago. So it's awesome. Anytime you are getting that sort of recognition and you realize you have that kind of talent, you just got to be happy. As far as the list, I mean, I really only care about the top 15 or 20 people on that list, I guess. Probably more like the top 15. So I'm interested to see the way it shakes out with the Chiefs. I'm interested to see, did Mahomes get number 1, or am I going to be upset that he didn't get number 1? Because I think we all feel like year in and year out, he's definitely the best player in the league. So I feel like, if it goes to somebody else, then we feel kind of like slighted, right? Even though he's won it twice now. But I mean, it's super cool. It's, I've talked about this before, just kind of like when you have the Super Bowl seasons and just like how great the off season is and all the different stuff. This is just like another one of those things that comes out that is just like a little cherry on top of the sundae, where it's like, oh yeah, now we got like, people talking about that sack that Chris Jones made in the AFC Championship game. You got people talking about all the stuff that Travis Kelce does, and we got people talking about Mahomes, and they're showing some highlights, and you're getting to hear Max Crosby and some of these other guys talk about it. So I think it's cool from that respect. I mean, as far as the list, and how good or bad it is. I thought it was funny that Jalen Hurts was above Joe Burrow and Josh Allen. So that was pretty cool to see. I thought he had a better season. It was good to see that the players voted it, but for the most part, it's mostly fluff, right? Outside of the top few players in the league for me.
Yeah, it's a cool thing. Obviously, voted on by the players. The recognition from your peers always feels better than recognition from the outside people. Doesn't mean it's more accurate or not. Some of the players, who knows how much they even pay attention to other teams. There's a lot of guys just going there, playing their games, cashing a check, and going home. So Patrick Mahomes, obviously deservedly number 1. Travis Kelce at number 5. Yeah, that's pretty good. As a Chiefs fan,
it's pretty good.
Maybe 3 or 4 or something. Chris Jones, I'm sorry. I think Chris Jones is a better player than Nick Bosa. I think he does more. I think he's more destructive at a more important position, and a position that's harder to play. So I would have probably leapfrogged them. I think Bosa was 7 or 8. I think I might have jumped Chris Jones up to 7 or 8, put Bosa there 9 or 10.
Maybe just swap them.
Yeah, it doesn't look like our guy John V's in the chat, so probably won't hear too much complaining about that. But if you missed our live watch of the Hall of Fame game, our man John V from Locker Room Rant jumped on there and talked a little football with us. So go back and give that a watch. It was fun. We're going to try and do that for some more games this year. Maybe a Chiefs game, maybe a preseason game. It'd be hard to do a Chiefs game, man. Like, I'm not going to lie. So, but we
with
might
that
try to
delay,
do one.
man, I don't know if I could do it. Just
Right.
listening to you guys call the game.
Nick,
20
you
seconds ahead of me.
mentioned the comments of the other players when they announced Patrick at number 1. I thought it was cool. You said Max Crosby. If you watched the Netflix documentary, whatever you want to call those on there, the quarterback, the Raiders Chiefs game, those guys were barking, and Max Crosby was kind of roughing Patrick Mahomes up a little bit. And Mahomes was like, "Come on, bro, that's cheap shit. Like, what are you doing? Stop doing that. You hit me well after the ball's gone." And there was a little bit of bad blood going there. But when Max Crosby was asked who was the number 1 player in the league, there was no hesitation in his. He said, Patrick Mahomes. To have that kind of recognition and respect from a guy that you play against, and there's some bad blood between your teams, and probably a little resentment by the part of the Raiders and the Chiefs with all the success that the Chiefs are having. They're in that division.
Yeah.
For a guy like that to just instantly blurt out that he thinks Patrick is the best, I thought that was pretty cool. Max Crosby's a hell of a player. I don't know the guy off the field. Seems like probably a nice enough guy. He plays on the edge, right? He's kind of like teeters on the line of whether or not some people would say he's a dirty player or a cheap player, but he plays his ass off, and he's one of the premier guys.
He's fucking legit. That dude, I would hate to try to block that guy. I'd be on my ass every time.
I hate even more to get tackled by him, so than to try to block him. But
you know what was cooler than him just spouting Mahomes right off the tip of the tongue? Mahomes is number 1. Is when everybody started asking about tight ends, and George Kittle even goes, "Oh yeah, Travis Kelce's the best tight end in the league, hands down." And then like Njoku's like, "Oh yeah, the greatest to ever do it." Just like all these players who try to, all their fan bases try to give them an argument to be number 1. To hear those guys just be like, "No, it's Travis." That for me was just like, yeah, feels good.
Goes down smooth.
Yep, real nice. So Patrick just racking up the awards. I put a tweet out or a post on X. You're right. We're definitely not worthy of that, man. But I put a post out. Patrick Mahomes, like, the dude wins NFL number 1 out of the NFL 100. He's the reigning NFL MVP. He's the reigning AP All-Pro First Team quarterback. He's the reigning SB Best NFL player. He's the reigning SB Male Athlete of the Year.
Dude, you're gonna have to redo that like a WWF sports announcer, like reigning. Come on, man. Yeah, get some emphasis in there, dude. Like these are some accomplishments that we haven't seen in the likes of 20 years, 30 years, man.
Right. Get one of the buffers to start listing off all the awards and the accolades or escalades that Patrick Mahomes is piling up. That's a hell of a feat to win all those awards. One guy.
Dude. In his 6 years of playing.
I think I forgot to put in the reigning Super Bowl champion and Super Bowl MVP too. I think I forgot those. So add those on to the list. Man, this guy is playing the quarterback position at a level that hasn't been seen in a long time. I think maybe Peyton Manning had a year where he set a bunch of records, right? And he like most passing yards, most passing touchdowns in a season, just had a killer year. But for a guy to just be that much like head and shoulders above all the rest of the best football players in the world is truly remarkable.
Not only that, dude, he's beating stats of guys that have been in this league 20 plus years, or they played in the league 20 plus years, right? He's already beating their stats 6 years in. Like, incredible.
Yeah, Laney, he the man. He is the man. There's no doubt about that. And he's 8 years old this season. some people are saying he's just starting to hit his prime, which is a scary thought for the rest of the NFL. But congrats to those players, the Chiefs, hard work, getting recognized by the fellow NFL players. That's kind of a brotherhood. You hear players talk about it being in the union and being an NFL player. So pretty damn cool.
Best individual season ever in the NFL.
That's getting close. I don't know. I want to say there was like a running back that had 2,000 something yards and a bunch of touchdowns. What was that guy's name? Marshall Faulk had a pretty amazing year at running back for the St. Louis Rams. Best show on turf. Peyton Manning's year there in Denver, where he just lit the record books on fire with passing statistics. They didn't win the Super Bowl that year, though. So
got smoked.
He got smoked in that Super Bowl.
Right, got smoked in that Super Bowl. God, that was such a fun Super Bowl. Like
it was so gratifying to watch. That's what people are hoping for us.
Right, I was at a Super Bowl party and just thoroughly enjoyed the thrashing that the Denver Broncos took in that game against the Seattle Seahawks. Man, it was fun. I remember thinking, probably almost as fun as if the Chiefs were playing and won. It ended up not being, but
right.
Experience that. What were you going to say, Bo?
I was going to say, it was like that summer right before was the World Cup, and Brazil was hosting the World Cup, and they just got walloped in the first round. They exited super early. And I remember I made a meme of it was like all the confetti and Peyton Manning's looking so sad, and I put on there, I know that feeling, Brazil, just to get walloped in your own hometown.
Yeah, I think was that where they lost to Germany like 11-0, something like that. Just got freaking just stomped.
Exactly. Yeah, they got smoked out of the World Cup, and
so
Broncos opened up that Super Bowl with a missed snap to Peyton and started with a safety, and I think some guy made like $500,000 betting on a safety as the first score of the Super Bowl.
Man, good for that guy. That's a hell of a
good
bet.
memory.
I don't know how much money you got to put down to win that. Probably not a lot on safety being the first score in the Super Bowl. So,
I'm guessing if you're betting on safety, then you're probably using a considerable amount of that money to account for other losses.
You're going for that long shot.
Right.
Yeah, but if you catch $500,000 bet slip, that make up for a lot of losses.
Yeah, for sure.
Chiefs have a game this weekend.
Whoa, what? Say that again. That doesn't sound real.
Preseason game against the New Orleans Saints. They put out a little bit of like an unofficial depth chart here. Talking about player rankings, shift gears into this. I don't know, Nick, if you want to bring this up, if it's going to work or not. We
got the depth chart for ants, so it's a little small for the viewing.
I don't really know what to read, how much to read into it. I can't see it obviously if we don't have it on the screen. But first team, all the regulars basically were there. On offense, I want to say it was Sky Moore was on first team wide receiver.
Yeah,
there was
Kadarius Toney
and Kadarius Toney. So
yes,
some reports out there that Kadarius Toney is going to be ready by week 1. Don't know how accurate. I'm not sure about the validity of those reports, but it's out there, and we're getting closer and closer to that week 1 game. Any surprises that you guys picked up on that depth chart on any of the first, second, or third teams you want to talk about? Bo?
The only thing I really kind of saw that stood out, and it wasn't even like it stood out because if you've been paying attention to training camp, he's kind of been the talk, is Prince at running back. He was listed as 3rd, but that's just because I guess CEH has been out sick for the past week, so they have him doing RB1 drills and working with the first squad, so they kind of listed him above CEH, so that was pretty interesting. But other than that, no, everything's kind of like what we talked about. Nothing.
I thought Clyde was on 3rd team. Did I look at that wrong?
Maybe I read it wrong.
I thought it was.
I thought it had Prince.
I'm trying to share. I thought it was or no.
I thought it was Pacheco. Yeah, we could try and bring it up. I'm on my phone screen here, so it's a little
Can you
bit
guys see
smaller,
it?
but I can
Yeah, we
see
can
it.
see it.
So if it's on a laptop or a TV screen, the folks at home can probably read it. Maybe let us know in the chat with a Y for yes, N for no, or something. If you can read it, but
It's not.
I thought,
Let's
so
see.
those
I have it up
columns
on my
left and right are
TV
first,
here.
second, third, and fourth. I was a little disappointed to see Clyde Edwards-Helaire third team over Prince. Prince has been flashing in camp. We know what CEH is. He's missed time with health issues. Obviously, Isaiah Pacheco has leapfrogged him into that number one. Jarrett McKinnon, second team. So,
Yeah, Pacheco got the nod, huh?
I mean, he earned it, right?
So who technically released this? Did the Chiefs release it?
yeah, that's what I read.
So yeah,
The
this is via
it's
the
on,
Chiefs.
if you got the Chiefs app, if you got the Chiefs app, you can go look at it. I'm pretty sure it's on there. So,
Scotty, what do you expect this year out of Ty Freifogel?
what does Bo's shirt say?
Ty Freifogel. Oh, why is my
Yeah.
camera down like that?
And I was trying to read your
Where's my
shirt.
crotch, guys?
What's your shirt say?
It looks like a New Mexico shirt.
It is a New Mexico shirt. It says Chili's, Balloons, Sandias, and Biscochitos and Uniteds.
Nice.
There you go. Those all sound good right now. Damn. Making me hungry.
Biscochitos.
Biscochitos. Woo. If you're from the 505, you know what a Biscochito is. Or if you're from the Southwest in general. But, yeah, I don't know. Clyde Edwards-Helaire's fallen down pretty far there onto the third team still. I mean, I'm surprised that – I don't know if I should say surprised or not, but Prince has looked better in practice and done more work in camp. So, maybe that's just because the guy's the first-round draft pick. I don't really know. Justin Ross, third team on wide receiver there. They got Justin Watson and Richie James ahead of him. With all the hype, like the highlights and all the hype the guy is getting from the media and everybody there, that's a little surprising to me that he's third team.
They have Rashee Rice over him, too.
Right. I mean, you guys a little surprised Justin Ross not a little higher on there? What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I was surprised that he wasn't over Richie James, but I mean, look, you got to wonder if some of this is psyops, right? Like where they're just like putting stuff out there. I mean, they seem high on the guy, but it's so early, right? I mean, this thing's going to shuffle around so much as you see the preseason games play out. So I would say that this. What do you think the percentage of change here is going to be? I mean, this is going to be probably change 40-50% by the time it makes it to game one of the regular season.
I don't know. I would have a hard time even guessing how much of this is going to change between now and then. I guess a lot of that would probably have to do with injury. Would probably factor into a lot of that.
Yeah, true.
They got Chris Jones first team, and he hasn't even been to training camp. So I don't know what that means for his place on the team or his contract situation. I was hoping to see Justin Ross a little bit higher than that. Justin Watson and Richie James are guys that have been in the league for a few years, and maybe it's just that. Maybe that's what it is, experience, or they're veteran guys.
Yeah, they just got a track record to draw from, and the other guys don't necessarily.
Right.
What do you guys think of King Felix being third team?
Yeah, he's a rookie, so it's going to take some work. There's some wood to chop for those rookies, for those guys to move their way up. Bo, what do you think about the first-round draft pick being third team?
I mean, again, I'm with Nick. This is so early. This is going to change so much. I mean, he moved Chris Jones out of there. Obviously, it starts getting shuffled around real quick. I could see him easily moving up to second string, which is with that move, right? So, this is going to change so much. I think it's just fun to kind of look at it, get a feel for the guys where they're looking. I mean, I think it's kind of like also motivation for the guys on fourth and third string. Like, hey man, it's kind of where the team sees you. You want a spot,
You're on the
you're
bubble,
start
right?
picking it up now. Yeah, exactly. You're on the cutting board, so pick it up. So who knows how much of this is
Motivational
psyops,
tool.
but I'm with you. I think there's a couple receivers that I feel like Justin Ross is arguably better than, but just doesn't have the NFL track record. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Leo Chanel, guy that
Thanks,
was
race car.
a later round draft pick and a rookie last year, got some playing time down the stretch. He finds himself first team defense. I think that's notable. That guy's a freak athletic specimen, man. He is
Yeah.
and he plays hard too. That's the thing you hear about the guy. He's like a high motor guy. He's out there. He's looking to lay some punishment on some people. There was a video of him where he jumped up during the parade. Did you guys remember seeing that? Where he like jumped up and grabbed the top of the double-decker bus and
and held it
over the railing up on top of the bus. So that's another thing that kind of jumped out to me there. Other than that, I mean, you look in there, Trent McDuffie, L'Jarius Sneed, Nick Bolton, all guys that you expect to be on that first team. Travis Kelce, first team tight end, obviously. Offensive line there.
They have Jody Fortson listed as fourth string for tight end. Do you think that's just because he's hurt right now and hasn't really been playing, or do you think he is the fourth string? Because we have Noah Gray, Blake Bell. I mean, there's some depth in that position.
Noah Gray was not like a super high draft pick, but he was like, what, a third rounder?
Right.
Yeah, I believe so.
So he started flashing, made some big plays towards the end of last year. He's looked like a guy that has some potential. Look, like when you're hurt, and especially if you have an injury history, it's gonna be hard to jump a veteran guy like a Blake Bell.
Yeah.
I mean, and Blake Bell's got one of the best nicknames on the team, right? The Belldozer.
Yeah, the Belldozer. He goes in there and takes those like a tight end sneak where they pretend like they don't pretend like they're going to. They do snap the ball to him, and he just sneak like the line. They do that push, so it's not a quarterback sneak. It was just interesting. I liked looking at it when it came out, and ahead of this week's game, first preseason game against the New Orleans Saints. Saints are saying they're going to be playing.
Football is here.
It's here. Yeah, Chiefs will be on your TV Sunday. I like watching the preseason games for the Chiefs, especially. Some of the hardest playing football you see is in the preseason, especially later in like the second half, third, fourth quarters. You got guys scrapping to jump up from that third or fourth team to the second or the third team. Trying to get one of those last few spots on the roster. So guys are playing hard. They're getting their work in there. And I'm looking forward to watching the game. Saints said that they're going to be playing some starters. Nick, I couldn't find any reports where I couldn't even find where anybody had asked Andy Reid if he plans on playing starters. Last year, we talked about this in last week's episode, and I did go back and look. And last year, it was the Chicago Bears was the first preseason game of the year. The offense first unit offense was out there on the field.
One drive, right?
Opening drive, marched down the field, scored a touchdown. Their day was over. You anticipate, you think we're going to see the starters out there at all in this game, Nick?
Yeah, I think so. I think that, part of it is we have so many new receivers that any rep that they can get in a game simulation, right, or situation with Mahomes is going to be super valuable, right? So, did I say something funny?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it looked like you're smirking. So I just think that's going to be huge. And then Andy Reid's never shied away from playing starters. They're not going to play a whole quarter or a whole half in the first game, but you're going to see the guys out there, right? I mean, I think that's Andy's deal. And then you look at how they start the season versus how some other teams start the season. Chiefs typically start hot because they've been out there. They've got that first game contact. They've got some of the bugs worked out. So I I definitely think you'll see, at least for the first series, see the starters out there.
Bo, you think you will see the Chiefs starters in this game?
Barely, right? Like to that point, maybe a drive, maybe a series, if that, right? Patrick Mahomes, maybe 5-6 plays, maybe a little bit more, maybe even a little bit less, just to get out there, get the feel, get the guys around him, get the crowd going a little bit. But yeah, to Nick's point, I feel like we're going to see a lot of. It's hard to say who the starters are going to be when it comes to a lot of these positions, right? Like there's a lot of question marks in the wide receiver position. Who's going to be their true running back one? So I think we're like you'll see some pecking order challenging coming up this weekend. So we'll see those guys play. I don't know that we'll see Mahomes magic or anything special like a snow globe play by any means, but yeah, I would expect to see him just at the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, vanilla game plan. Obviously, they're not doing a whole lot of game planning or anything. They're not going to put anything out there on tape that they want to use for the season. They want to keep those cards close to the vest there. I don't think you see Isaiah Pacheco.
Right.
He had some off-season surgery. He started training camp with the yellow vest there, so non-contact guy. So, I mean, I think you're going to see McKinnon. I think you're going to see Prince and CEH out there. I expect to see a lot of Prince, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what that guy can do. He's been flashing in camp. Looks like he can catch passes out of the backfield. Looks like he's a quick guy, an elusive guy. Looking forward to seeing that. We've been talking about this wide receiver battle. I don't know how much you see Sky Moore being first team on that depth chart, but he's not a proven guy. So I'm looking forward to seeing maybe what Richie James and Justin Ross look like. Justin Watson was kind of the preseason rock star last year. Didn't really equate to a whole lot of production in the regular season outside of a few nice plays. We dusted J.C. Jackson of the Chargers in that week 2 game at Arrowhead. That was a hell of a play. So there's some position battles on this team that we really haven't seen in a few years, especially after the first Super Bowl year and where they came back and they ran it back at 22 of 24 starters came back. The year after that, they still had, I want to say, 16 of the 22 guys, 15 or 16 of 22 guys. So that was a lot more settled. There's going to be guys in there getting a chance to play and prove themselves and make the team. I want to see what some of these young guys can do. What you guys plan on doing for the game? You just going to go anywhere and watch it? Or, Bo, you'll probably have to stream it online or something, won't you?
Yeah, always. I'll be traveling, so I'll be in Albuquerque. There actually might be a television set for me to watch it with some friends. I'll have some fellow Chiefs friends around, so go to find a bar or something to watch it at.
Yeah. I don't know, I might end up watching it with Nick here. We'll see.
Yeah, come on over.
That's just, dude, Chiefs are going to be playing football on TV on Sunday, and that's a good thing, even if it is preseason.
I think you need to start. You should preseason all the games at your house. Get the practice for hosting games in, so that way you're ready for the season and you could host a game and not have to worry about affecting the outcome of it.
And they lose all the games I have parties at my house for. So
there you go. So like that's what I'm saying. Get them all out preseason, right? And
yeah.
then they'll win that last preseason game. Like, oh, it's not a curse. And
weed out those L's early.
You can have a Super Bowl party at your house and enjoy a victory too.
Yeah, I'm not going to be having any Super Bowl parties in my house. That's not happening. I'm not superstitious, but I am a little bit superstitious. So, looking forward to watching the game Sunday.
Oh yeah, completely.
What else do you guys want to talk about?
So you guys didn't see the franchise episode?
I didn't watch it yet. No.
The one it came out like last week, didn't it? Was there a new one that came out today?
It's been out for the next one's after this preseason game. They'll have an episode come out. But
yeah, I watched it. It's good.
Yeah, like the production quality on those is just so stellar, right?
Well, they get the access, right? So they get the shots. That helps a lot. But yeah, they had some great. They got a great production crew working on that.
I'm just talking about like editing, right? The sound, right? Just a top notch production overall. So if you haven't seen it, definitely give it a watch. I thought it was pretty cool. They featured Sky Moore for a good portion of it. Kind of gave him the opportunity to talk about his punt, handling issues, and he said that. Sorry, Scott, spoiler alert, but he was in that AFC Championship game, and Dave Toub was like, "All right, we're gonna have you go back and receive that punt," and he was like, "Well, I'm not really trying to be back there," and he said Dave Toub was like, "Guy, who's left, man? Everybody's hurt, and dude stepped up, got in there, made a huge play that allowed us to win the game.
Yeah.
Pretty dope. He's it's funny. He's going and he's packing and he's just oh yeah, he's just sitting on his dresser. He's like, this is the ball from the Super Bowl, or he scored the touchdown. He's like, I should probably do something with this other than just have it sitting around.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's definitely worth a watch, man. Definitely worth a watch. So
yeah, no, I'll catch up on it. And I watch pretty much every episode of that throughout the season. Well, once the real games start playing. So I don't know what other Chiefs news there is.
Not too much, man. Just
Bashad Breeland got arrested. Former Chief, Super Bowl champion,
Super Bowl hero.
Super Bowl hero.
Yeah, no, he had a hell of a game. And I don't know if that's his first run-in with the law or not, but old friend alert, I saw scrolling across the feed there earlier. It's kind of oh, damn, I kind of forgot about that guy. From Super Bowl stardom to the clink, man, that's
sadly, it's too common of a tale in this league, man.
right. Yeah, no, it's man.
Speaking of the clink, Chiefsaholic had his first court appearance, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see that.
I haven't seen anything about him since the story came out that they found him. So
I think he's got a couple more to go, but right, he had his first appearance in front of everything. I don't know if he had to put in a plea or anything, but I just saw a little snippet in the news.
Yeah,
deserves everything that's coming to him, man.
Yeah, what a weird story that is with that dude. It's just he was like a superstar there for a while.
Oh yeah,
going to Super Bowl, was everywhere, and everybody knew who he was. Tons of followers on Twitter.
Yeah, well, yeah. The reason that story went viral is because he was a little superstar in his own right. He didn't post for 3 days, and Chiefs King was like, "Hey, we haven't heard from this guy. Is everything okay?" And they kind of started their own little private search, and it turned out dude was in jail.
Isn't it kind of weird that it would started out as this? Hey, we have an online community, and people were trying to be compassionate and make sure that dude was all right and nothing bad had happened to him, and then kind of the end result was just this stain on Chiefs Kingdom, that kind of made our fan base look shittier than it is. It's weird. I mean,
yeah. Did you guys see the videos of Matt Nagy drilling the crossbar?
Yeah, I did.
Oh yeah,
practice.
I love the title. Let's see your OC do this.
He's still got a gun on him, man. He was at the 40-yard line, midfield, somewhere around there.
He was a quarterback coach for years, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he played quarterback in college somewhere.
Still got it though, man. Still got it.
Patrick Mahomes was throwing left-handed spirals off the crossbar, behind the back off the crossbar. Matt Nagy was like, "Let me get that ball. Let me get some chuck. Let me get a couple throws at it here." Got 2 out of 3 times, which
that's good. How many do you think you would get? You think you'd get it once from the 40 yard?
No.
Throw your shoulder out before you.
I'd have to warm up. I don't know if I could throw a football 40 yards anymore. I know I used to be able to, but man, that's a
chuck. That's a good.
That's a
good
chuck.
toss.
40 yard. I'd have to take some crow hops. I guarantee you that to get the ball. I'm not just gonna be standing back there doing the flick of the wrist thing.
You line up at the other end zone and just start running.
Bam! Maybe if it was one of those Nerf things that had like the little tail. Remember that thing?
Little
On it?
yeah,
Oh,
and a
right.
whistle as you threw it.
Yeah. I could throw that thing a long ways when we were kids. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Guys having fun. Training camp's winding down. Those guys are up there getting it. Chiefs are gonna start cutting guys.
Dude, real quick, you said it. You triggered me. I gotta bring it up. I've seen way too many videos of a behind the back pass from Patrick Mahomes' training camp.
Oh,
It's
Do
happening.
you guys
bro.
think we see it this season? Sadly, I think we're gonna see it. I think it's gonna make its appearance this season.
I mean, I hope so.
I hope so. Why not, man?
Dude, because like he practices it so much without pads, and until like I see him nail it with pads, I just think it's a different situation. And it's just too risky. I don't know. I know there's a situation out there I'm not thinking of, but I just can't think of a situation where you just risk catching that ball off of the back of your pads and fumbling it 10 yards back behind you with nobody behind you to recover it. I just can't think of a situation where like, yeah, let's risk that. But that's just me.
I mean, I can when we're up 21 4 minutes left or something.
Right. I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes, man.
wouldn't do
People would have said the same thing about no look 2 years ago or 3 years ago or whatever it was. So,
Oh, good call, Laney. I did want to talk about this. Did you guys hear about the Commanders complaining about Eric Berry or Eric Bieniemy? Sorry.
what were they complaining about Eric Berry for? I did see that. I want to say old sheepdog. What was that guy's name? Nick, you sent me the tweet.
Garrett Dieter.
Garrett Dieter like retweeted the tweet talking about it where it just said soft on there.
Garrett Dieter's calling you soft.
Right. The cheetah. Yeah, if Garrett Dieter's calling you soft, you're probably pretty soft. The cheetah weighed in and was like, man, it's gonna make you better. You might not like it, you might not appreciate it, but like in the end, like you're gonna be a better player for it. A lot of his former players saying there ain't nobody better than EB. Yeah, I thought it was pretty soft. If you're the Commanders and you look at your record the last 10 or 15 years, you probably need someone come in there and whip your ass into shape a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have not been a good team. So, Bo, what do you think about some guys, EB, not really loving the discipline or the heart or the hard work or the physicality or whatever it is?
It's not surprising that people in DC got triggered by microaggressions from Eric Bieniemy, right? Like,
yeah,
that guy has been in the news for just like being in players' faces and calling a spade when it is, and it's not surprising that softies are about in DC. But I'm actually kind of thankful that he's just not on our team anymore, right? Like we saw the little spat he had with Mahomes, and like Andy Reid kind of had to interject on the sideline last year right before halftime. And I'm not saying that it's not good for you because sometimes you need that, but like you just look at like training camp and like we were just talking about Nagy, like throwing balls off the crossbar and like the camaraderie the team's getting, and there's just there doesn't seem to be any hiccups in the staff or the personnel or the players like that. Like it doesn't seem to be any headbutts like that. I mean, we've seen like some feuds break out between players, but that's just more like, competitive top dogs going at it in a contact sport. So, I mean, that's like the only rift I've seen this year. So it's really nice to kind of get that piece just kind of out to the side. Don't even consider it this season, but hilarious that it's actually a topic with him going over there. What about you, Nick?
I think you learned a lot more about Ron Rivera this week than you learned about Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, you learned that his players aren't being challenged like that or haven't been being challenged like that. They're not being challenged like that by him because they went to him. And he also wasn't, super, supportive of EB in his comments either. And, he had a couple of years ago when they had Carson Wentz on his team when they asked something about, your team, and he said, "Oh, quarterback." Well, I mean, so I don't know, man. I think it's really telling about that dude personally. I would be frustrated if that was my organization. I'd be pulling him aside and be like, "What are you doing? We brought this guy in from a winning organization, and you're kind of selling him out to the media when the players are talking, smack and going to you about him." Like, I mean, the dude, you can say what you want. I agree, Bo, right? I think it was time for EB to leave. Just because I mean, you've been hearing that he's ready to be a head coach, and he was stagnant, right? And even if somebody's good, you don't want them to be stagnant in their role, because it'll breed contempt, right? He feels stuck. So
Yeah.
but I mean, he's definitely an upgrade for the Commanders, right? I mean, he's got Andy Reid coaching tree. He's not just an OC; he's an assistant head coach, and yeah, I mean doesn't bode well for that team and that organization as long as they have that head coach. So,
yeah, I've never really been a big Ron Rivera fan outside of a couple of years where he had MVP level Cam Newton at quarterback. His teams haven't accomplished a whole lot as head coach. So, yeah, when you bring in a guy, there's been a lot of criticism or questions about EB and how much of it was Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy. What was the mix of the success? How much credit goes to who? A lot of people and the idea around the league, anyway, and it was reflected in his inability to land one of the head coaching jobs the last handful of years, is that he was kind of along for the ride. So maybe some of these guys in the Commanders, maybe they got that feeling. Maybe they're looking at this guy saying, well, yeah, anybody could have won Super Bowls. You're coming in here and talking about you're a Super Bowl champion and the Chiefs, we did this and Chiefs, we did that. Well, you know what? You had Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. So maybe the respect level isn't there with these guys that are not wild about his coaching style. Maybe it's personality clash, but yeah, I agree. He's challenging you. Step up and work harder.
Did the Commanders just get a new owner?
They did. Yep.
I can't remember who it is, but he was talking about. I think he was talking about renaming them again. Did you guys hear about that?
Yep.
That would be interesting.
Pigskins. Let's do it.
The Pigskins? Is that what you said?
Yeah, there was some people talking about that because the old skins and the hogs, the fans, they used to wear the pig.
Yeah, I do remember that.
There was a lot of people that like Red Hawks when they were thinking about redoing them. I thought Commanders was the worst one out of all of the possibilities that I saw floated around. I think it's a terrible name. I liked Washington football team better than I liked the Commanders.
I did too, man.
Yeah.
And so I would be for name change, especially if I was a Washington fan. I don't know what I would change the name to, but
I just can't wait to see the tattoos because there's one out there where it says Redskins and it's X'd out, right? He has Commanders under it. You have to X that one out and put whatever's next under that. And
be like that old
Cleveland
Browns jersey.
Yeah, exactly. Right. The new quarterback name every year. Right. Yeah, exactly. You're starting a bad tradition there, man.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what that team looks like this year. What do you think that does for Eric Bieniemy's chances of a head coaching job next year? Players complaining about him being too tough or too hard or too strict or whatnot. Nick?
Good. Oh.
Bo? It don't matter. Who jump in, whoever.
I guess it would depend on how well they do this year, right? If he turns that team around, they have a winning season, maybe a little playoff run. Does great for him. Actually makes him look like, oh yeah, we are dealing with a bunch of softies here. Maybe they just need a little discipline in their life. But if the contrary happens, then yeah, I doubt he gets a head coaching job anywhere ever.
It's a results-based league, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he gets another shot though. That's what I'm trying to say.
I was just wondering more how this would affect it, and I guess ultimately, it will come down to how the team does, especially how the offense looks. They got Terry McLaurin and whatever, but I mean, their quarterback situation is not settled. They don't have a top 2 tier, whatever you want to call them, quarterback. We got a handful of decent players, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. The first thing I thought was, well, that's why your team isn't doing well. Because you got people complaining that the coach was too hard on him in training camp or in practice. I mean,
Yeah.
like I was like, this isn't like about being friends, right? You know?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Big Doug saying we're going to have some animals across the country offended by hogs or pigs. Yeah, that could be.
Oh man, PETA's gonna have a fit if that happens.
Right.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
animal names out there in the league, right?
But hogs is derogatory, Nick.
Yeah. It's
I'll
not
leave
hard.
that
Packing one. Only if you're packing one, I guess.
All you'd have to do is go to Twitter or X or whatever it's called now. I hate calling it X. I don't know. I think that's just a stupid ass name. But yeah.
Did you see all the people that got their billing cycle this month and they're posting? They're like, my wife is just like, why are you paying $8 a month for X premium? Why is that showing up on the credit card? What is this?
Getting some people in trouble.
$8 a month. Oh, that I swear is Twitter.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you go to X or Facebook or something and find somebody to be offended by the name somewhere, no matter what you named them. So, I think I'd go back to Washington football team, man. I don't know why. It's hard to come up with cool names, like all like the badass animals and birds, and should have been taken.
And their helmets were super cool too, like the red with the yellow numbers on them. I mean,
had kind of like an old school, old NFL or college feel, like Alabama style. Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to think like what I would name them if it was up to me, like what name I'd pick. I don't know. I mean, if you wanted to get the feel of Washington, I mean, I know that's what they're going with Commanders, right? It's like a military
right
thing, but maybe like the lobbyists or the special interests or something like that.
But the DC flip-flops.
groups.
Right. Yeah, that's I don't know. Interesting. Changing the name. What about people went out and bought all this Commanders gear? You think like they take it back? Like we'll give you credit. We'll restore credit. We'll take your gear back or give you.
Oh man, it's collectible now.
I don't know how much of a. Maybe if it was a good team did that, maybe it'd be a collectible. But I don't know how much of a collectible that Commanders hat's going to be. Maybe in 100 years or something.
Maybe the NFL can take a page from like UEFA's book and like refund all these people who bought merch and give them a refund with the new merchandise. Like, so if they have a new name or whatever, they just trade in their old jersey, get a new one for free. FIFA's pretty good about doing that. If like a player changes teams and you bought a jersey, they'll refund you, get you the new jersey for free.
Yeah. You can do that on NFL Shop. You can pay for it extra when you buy a jersey. It's like jersey assurance. So like if the guy goes to another team, you get a discount on your next jersey or something like that. So yeah, I've got a little bit of the old Matley curse going on with jerseys. I bought Tyreek Hill's jersey 2 years ago, and then last year they traded him, and then I got Chris Jones' jersey last year. Now he's contract dispute. So
no, don't say it. Don't say it. It's gonna be okay, Scott. This is the year of optimism. You're gonna host parties. We're gonna win. You be wearing your Chris Jones jersey. Everything's gonna be fine.
Our buddy Matt,
Chris Jones jersey.
Growing up, he's like, "Oh man, I got this Mark Boerichter jersey." It's like, he's never gonna play for the team.
He gone.
I see Scott wearing a Freifogel jersy. Like, I didn't know even they make those, man.
Right.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, got this one custom made.
Right. He also got, that wasn't the only one. He got Priest Holmes jersey right before Priest Holmes got hurt.
Oh yeah.
He had Scott Fujita jersey right before they got rid of Scott Fujita and sent him to the Saints. Yeah, Matt had 3 or 4 in a row there where he got a jersey. And I remember telling him, I can't remember what the player was. Like, you got to get this guy's jersey because this guy sucks and I want to get rid of him. Start getting crappy people's jerseys. I put a Twitter poll out of a week or so ago. We didn't get to it last week, but I put out there, like, what should this year's jersey purchase be if you were getting a jersey? And I put out there L'Jarius Sneed, Creed Humphrey, Nick Bolton, or Trent McDuffie. And should you go red or white? What jersey would you guys get out of those 4 players, and which color are you going, Nick?
Well, my last 2 jerseys that I've got have been white, and so I only have one like authentic red jersey. So I'd probably go red, and then I think I'd do McDuffie. I like the number, right?
22,
And I
double
mean,
deuce, yep.
that dude seems like he's going to be a star. So
Yeah. Bo? I know what Bo's
Red
going to
Bolton. Red Bolton.
dude,
man. All day, dude. I've been high on that guy since we got him.
Yeah.
Sung his praises, even though some people in our chat think otherwise, and we lost a viewer because of it. But I can't sing that guy's praises enough. He is so good. Worth every penny if I'm going to get a jersey. Might have to actually pick that one up this year, actually.
Yeah, you can't make everybody happy all the time. We talked about Nick Bolton, how great he is, but sometimes they have to take him off the field in obvious pass situations because his coverage, his skills are still developing. And I don't know, you guys don't talk good about Nick Bolton, I'm going to stop watching your show. Like, okay.
hi, Felicia.
This must be your first show. Like, tell me this is the first show you've watched without telling me this is your first episode of CKL, because pretty much all we said about the guy is good stuff.
I'm the president of the Bolton fan club. They don't even know that.
Right. There was an interesting debate going around about whether or not he would have been Super Bowl MVP if that other touchdown would have counted. So I still don't think he would have been. I think it would have been Patrick Mahomes, and I still would have said Patrick Mahomes is more valuable. But yeah, it's hard to go wrong with Nick Bolton. It was super tight, the poll. I mean, it was like right up in the. Jerry Sneed was like way down there, and I don't know if that's because maybe there's been talk that he won't be back next year because his contract is up, and Chiefs don't like to pay corners. They seem to do an okay job of finding late round guys, making trades for underappreciated or undervalued corners with other teams. They did that with a couple of guys. Rashad Fenton and Brandon Carr come to mind. So
yeah,
he's still coming off a knee injury too, right? So there's a lot of there hasn't been a lot of positive talk coming out about him this training camp.
Who went to San Francisco a couple of years ago?
Charvarius Ward. Yeah, they let him go. So yeah, they have not really paid the cornerback. They had Marcus Peters. They got rid of him. Now he was a little bit of a malcontent and a little bit of a headache. So
he did throw a flag into the stands.
Right, that fed a lot into that, I'm sure, with him. So yeah, I'm leaning McDuffie right now, a white McDuffie. So
nice, all right.
The white looks good, and I'm 2's my number anyway. So you got the double deuce, which is double the fun, right? But yeah, I mean, I get a jersey every year, so I'm gonna get somebody. But I think
white McDuffie this year. All right.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I think we're about an hour. You guys want to jump out of here? I think we pretty much hit up all the topics. We'll be back next Wednesday.
Next time we have a show, we'll have a game to talk about.
We will. We'll be back next Wednesday to break down the action and this Sunday's preseason game, the first preseason game against the New Orleans Saints, whose coach did say they're going to play starters. So there's some guys on this team that I am really interested in watching in this game Sunday.
Yeah, me too.
So we'll come back. We'll break that down. Maybe we'll have some Chris Jones news. Maybe a deal will be done. Maybe a deal won't be done. I'm sure
Let's
we'll talk about that. Patrick Mahomes will probably win some more awards between now and then that we can talk about. So probably
we'll set another record at least.
Right, set another record, even though he'll set some sort of preseason records. But appreciate everybody in the chat, as always.
Yes,
thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to click that like and click subscribe. We got another giveaway that we're working on here. We're going to try and get going here before the beginning of the season. So we're going to be announcing that sometime soon once we figure out exactly when we're going to give it, what we're going to do to give it away, and what exactly is going to be in there. One of the items is already picked out, and it's sweet. So you definitely want to be checking that out.
Just ordered another one of the items today.
What's that?
I said I just ordered one of the other items today too. So
Bo's got some other stuff on the way. So keep your eyes peeled. Follow us on social media, on Facebook, X, Instagram. Find us at Chiefs Kingdom Live. Help spread the word. And we'll be back next Wednesday. Until then, on Sunday, preseason game 1 Let's go Chiefs, and let's get ourselves a preseason dub, baby.
Let's go Chiefs.